down to 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. We should see fire. 4, 3, 2, 1. Roger, team. Liftoff. Liftoff. Roger, liftoff. And we have liftoff. Now the huge tail is passing the tower. She's rising. She's yawing now to clear the tower. That slight yaw. She's lifting up. We have tower clear.
The crew of Apollo 11 launching into space on their way to the moon. Almost exactly 50 years later, it's still an unforgettable chapter in American history. A mission that famously saw Neil Armstrong take one small step for man and a giant leap for mankind. Over 500 million people back here on Earth watched as Armstrong walked the lunar surface, the defining moment of the entire Apollo program. That monumental mission, along with about a dozen others, are at the center of the new National Geographic documentary, Apollo: Missions to the Moon. Here's a look.
Would you like to live on the moon?
Yes, I would.
You would. You'd like to be one of the first people to go?
Yes.
We have one of the most challenging assignments that has ever been given to modern man.
The United States Man in Space program is at least 8 months behind that of the Soviet Union.
Now it is time to take longer strides. Time for this nation to take a clearly leading role in space achievement.
It's there. We'd be neglecting our duties as people if we didn't try to investigate it.
Oh my God, look at that picture over there. There's the Earth coming up. Wow, that's pretty.
You well may be the first man on the moon. How do you personally feel about it?
Well, I have the same desires as all the astronauts. We'd all like to make that trip.
Houston, you're go for landing, over.
They should be within 5 miles of their landing point.
How's our margin looking, Bob?
They're going in.
2,000 feet, picking up some dust. Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
We copy you down, Eagle.
Houston, we've had a problem.
We got more than a problem. Okay, stand by, 13. We're looking at it.
It's a stepping stone to deeper space.
It is no longer a dream, but a reality.
Welcome to the moon, Houston. We leave as we came, with peace and hope for all mankind.
And for more on the film and the Apollo program, I'm joined now by Tom Jennings, the documentary's executive producer and director, and Mike Massimino, a former NASA astronaut who was inspired by the Apollo mission to venture into space. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks.
Now, so Tom, your film covers the 12-man Apollo flights. Do you think that the dramatics of the Apollo 11 moon landing overshadows all the other flights and all the other dramatic events that happened in the other manned flights?
Yes and no. And the reason for that is Apollo 11 would not have happened without everything that had been building up to that point. When you look at the footage that we went through for our documentary, for example, and you understand how everything was a stepping stone to get to landing on the moon. Apollo 8, for example, when they left Earth's orbit for the first time and went around the moon, these were all practice runs for 11. But after 11, as we talk about in the film, the public interest kind of faded initially
we'll
because
we'll
been there, done that.
Yeah, is that what?
But I don't think it really took anything away because by the time they finished up with Apollo 17, so much study had been done on the surface of the moon. I think they got what they came for.
Mike?
I think as far as the science goes and what they were able to accomplish, they did many more ambitious things throughout the Apollo program. And then we moved on to the space shuttle and the space station where we have people in space on a permanent basis that we trade out every few months. So I think we've gone on and done some great things. But I think there's something about being the first and being the first mission to the first time that people left our planet and landed somewhere else. You're never going to top that, and I think that that's okay.
Yeah, Walter Cronkite had it right. Golly.
Golly,
Hot dog.
it's never. I think it's going to take hundreds of years for us to come up. In my opinion, and I think that that's perfectly fine. It should be celebrated. Right. That was that great of an accomplishment.
So, Tom, one of the flights you cover, or that were supposed to be a flight, Apollo 1, the tragic Apollo 1, where 3 astronauts, there's no other way to say it, burned to death inside the capsule on a practice run. To what degree did that event change or transform the Apollo program?
It was a shock to inside NASA and for the nation in general. You know, we were in a space race at the time. The Russians were launching people into space. We had the Mercury and Gemini programs. People were ready for something like Apollo to happen. And then before the rocket even got off the ground, 3 great men died in a horrific way. And, you know, I think within NASA, people kind of woke up and said, we need to look at the designs of this spaceship and see what went wrong and why, so it'll never happen again. And the public as well, I think, took on a new appreciation for the danger of what people were putting their lives at risk to try and do this.
And Mike, there was Apollo 13. That was also almost a tragedy.
Yeah.
There, you know, Houston, we've had a problem. But it was so brilliant and so heroic the way that those 3 astronauts and Mission Control handled the deal that we kind of think of it as a great success.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
No, it was. I think that often there's other examples in exploration where you have a mission objective and then everything goes bad and it becomes a survival mission and your goal now is just to survive. And this is what happened in Apollo 13. I think it shows a few things. But one of the things I really like about that movie and that story was the dedication and the ability of the people in Mission Control Center. I don't know if I actually didn't realize until after our accident that when I was an astronaut that we had with Columbia, that we were devastated. I mean, I lost my friends, we lost our spaceship. But what was interesting is that I found the people in the control center, I think, felt almost worse than any of us did because they in some ways felt responsible. And I realized that just because the astronauts were the ones who were taking that type of risk, I think they felt the same way about it. The success of the mission and the lives of the astronauts were their responsibility. And to this day, they take that very, very seriously. And I think that the movie depicted that very well.
So, Tom, your film covers as Neil Armstrong. He seemed like the perfect guy at the perfect moment. The perfect guy to be the first man on the moon, the perfect guy to be the commander of this flight. Talk about him.
We went through a lot of hours of Neil Armstrong being interviewed, him doing practice runs with the lunar module, for example, when he was flying around for the reporters at the time. He was a cool cucumber kind of guy.
Right.
He would be the guy you would want at the controls of anything that in flight. He was mission oriented. He was very humble. Yeah. And he had a goal in mind, and he was going to do it. And you know, he didn't break a sweat. I'm sure he did in a lot of ways, but nobody sensed it.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
For more on how to watch Apollo, missions to the moon, and National Geographic Space Week, you can visit our website at metrofocus.org.